Good morning. I do not understand why. Why is it that the so-called liberals, who always supposed to be politically correct, who always assume that their policies are geared to peace and goodwill, have such inappropriate policies that are essentially harmful for the country. I'm specifically referring to the foreign policies of the government. They always have thought to project Canada as a goody-goody country, giving foreign aid, giving help, and also trying to be a person who wants peace. And yet at times their utterances are absolutely antithetical to what they profess. Prime Minister Trudeau goes to New York and Washington and he makes derogatory remarks about Trump. I'm saying they are so myopic that they were thinking that Trump would never win, while I have always been saying that Trump has the maximum lead. And today, the victory of Trump is right on the horizon. Anyway, I'm not concerned with the victory of Trump. I'm more concerned what the impact would be on Canada. While Justin Trudeau made very snide remarks, a leader of opposition, of course the third party, NDP, Tom Mulcair, called him a fascist. Now, being abusive of the foreign leaders is not a done thing. It's undiplomatic and it's uncalled for. Especially for the leader of a country who is your big brother down south, on whom you are dependent for your very existence, your foreign policy, your exports, your trade, and your defense, or always have to be in tune with United States. And if you have a president whom you have personally insulted and slighted, what hope you can have? I'm worried that if Trump comes in power, it might not augur well for Canadians for two reasons. A, they have been making slighting remarks, insulting comments, and derogatory comments about Trump, which are not only undiplomatic, but almost uncivilized. Secondly, Trump has been saying that allies cannot be taken for granted and they must pay. Now, the air defense of Canada is 100% with the US under NORAD. The contribution of Canada is minimal. It's a token contribution, and the lion's share comes from USA. Would Trump not like Canada to contribute to that cost? Similarly, our land army is in fact an apology for an army. Very competent people, let's be very honest, very brave people, but the arms that they have and the number of the people they are in the army are not sufficient enough for the country this size. But we have a population of 35 million. So what else to do? In such a situation, this foreign policy, abusive, undiplomatic, uncharitable, is not likely to be good. Well, in case it was confined only to the persona of Trump, it might not have been that grave. But we have been consistently opposing another strong man. I mean, President Putin. We have called him a villain, we have called him a dictator, we have called him a bully, we have called him everything. Every name in the dictionary, except for being a fascist, has been imputed to Putin. And it's not only calling names. You will be shocked if I tell you something today. We have an organization called CIDA, Industrial Development Agency, Canada Industrial Development Agency, which gives aids to the foreigners to uplift their economy. We know CIDA has been funding projects all over the world, in Africa, in India, in Pakistan, helping them have better infrastructure, better power, better health, better roads, better water supply, and it's commendable. But do you know, CIDA is also funding a private TV in Ukraine, a ski-based TV called Hromomatke. And the purpose of this TV is to oppose and condemn Putin. Now, as far as the developmental activities of the world are concerned, I can and I do appreciate the work that CIDA is doing. I have myself interacted with CIDA on a number of occasions. The last one was when UN conference was there on the Millennium Development Goals, and Jeffrey Sachs had come, and I and Jeffrey Sachs interacted in Ottawa before, during and after that convention. And CIDA's work has been great. It has been exemplary. It's developmental work. It's pro-human work. Its work for the betterment of the people has been great. But then it's a government agency, let's not forget it. It will carry out the dictates of the government. And when the government ordered it to fund this TV program, it did so. Now imagine, on one side of the border you are annoying the forthcoming president. You never know it. Today he is a presumptive nominee of the Republicans, and the Democrats have been there for almost 8 years. It's a time for change. Let's be very clear. And if there is a time for change and the people are tired of the machinations of the politicians, so they want a non-politician to lead the country. Yesterday I was listening to General Vance of the US Army, and he was all praise for him. So when there is an all-round praise for him, the youngsters, the women, in spite of Hillary being there, the old, the veterans, the industry. So apart from a few vulnerable politicians, the majority of the people definitely are going to like him. And as I wrote in my article the other day, this is a global phenomenon. Whether it's Germany in England or Modi in India or Trump in USA. So this global phenomenon, this Trumpism, is going to be successful. And in case he is there, you have annoyed a major partner on the south. Your north, you are having doubts with the Denmark because of the Arctic. And you are not very happy with Iceland for the Arctic, but then okay, they were not that aggressive. But you are also annoying Putin. Putin had dropped the Russian flag on the Arctic seabed. You remember that it happened about a year back. And that had sent shock waves in Ottawa. Now, grant of money to this television station, a private television station, not a government one. Now let's be very clear about that. If it was a government one, we could have said, well, okay, the purpose was to help disseminate information over there. But it's a private television which is funded by CEDA. I agree there are about a dozen other organizations funding it. But I'm not concerned with what Germany does, and I'm not concerned what Thomson organization does. Thomson is a private organization. And what Germany does is their concern. I'm more concerned with my country does. I'm more concerned with what the repercussions and the consequences are going to be for my country. I'm more concerned with what happens to this nation, this country, rather than what happens to the European Union. And as the situation is worsening, as I said, on the south, I'm going to have a problem. The Canada is going to have a problem. And in north, you are creating a problem. As a matter of fact, this action of the government in funding the TV is likely to intensify a Cold War with Russia. And Cold War with Russia is not a happy sign as far as Canada is concerned. Russia is our next door partner just across the sea. While USA is our partner with an inch difference. You cross the line and you are in US. And I said, your 87% of your trade even today is with US. If US really wants to tighten the screws, it can do so without any problem. Now, Trump's coming. Imagine, the first thing he's going to do is to repeal NAFTA. And NAFTA, the purpose would not be to injure Canada, it would be to injure Mexico. But the side effect would be harming Canada. Then, as I said, he'll ask you to pay for NORAD. He'll ask you to pay for the land army. He'll ask you to pay for all the other assistance that he is giving free to you. There was some news that people had said in America that they like to emigrate to Canada in case Trump becomes the president, and he said yesterday, well, look here, why don't they start doing it right now? So this is a self-created delusional policy of the government that is creating your enemies on both fronts. One, if not military, at least economically, he can just put you in a very tight corner. And the other is a vindictive warrior who can create an issue for you every time. As I said, a Cold War. Canada is not equipped for that. Canada is neither mentally, psychologically, nor financially capable of engaging in these two fronts. Why can't our leaders be more imaginative? Why cannot our leaders be foresighted? Why can our leaders not think beyond a few voters, peer groups, pressure groups? Why cannot they visualize the repercussions of their hair-brained statements, schemes, and ideas? Why are they bent on spoiling the relations with two major world powers? What's the strength of Canada? This is the strength of being good. This is the strength of being a great country, but not a powerful country. Let's be very clear. We exist because we are essentially non-committed to aggression. We want peace and we want good of the maximum number of people. But the foreign policies today are oriented to annoy people, to irritate people, and to send wrong signals. I trust Ottawa is hearing. I trust our policy makers would wake up before it's too late. Thank you.